Hello everyone, today in this video we will fight against the atmosphere of our world around us and I will discuss with you the issues that are now ongoing. We will focus in particular on the protests that erupted in Czech Republic, previously in Netherlands, farmers mainly but not only, and previously the most turbulent and violent one as of now, I emphasize it here, as of now, underline it, in Sri Lanka. We see that many wiser people, wiser nations, concluded that it's time to give a solid kick to current politicians and business elite of their country and start really chasing after this what's important. It means everyday life and food, energy and housing security. Because especially in Western Europe what we see now is the attempt of imposing sick agenda of green socialism on countries and societies that would lead quite quickly what we see now to the food crisis, energy crisis, housing crisis, water crisis, everything and everything later if these people communists like Mr. Schwab and other colleagues and our politicians, if they succeed with introducing their agenda, it would end up with rationalizing food and rationalizing everything. So people from former Soviet bloc, from the countries of former Soviet bloc and China and so on, former communist countries, they know how it works. This is a centrally planned economy. People see it in their everyday life by the rationalization, by the rationing of food and goods. They see it by the talons, people call it paper sheets, with which one is eligible to buy something or not. And these paper sheets were also telling us the content on them, how much one could buy and how much one couldn't buy actually. So we see that everything was centrally planned. That is why nothing really worked and black market was huge and so on and so on, and poverty was huge. That's why many nations like now Czech Republic people, and as I said, Dutch people, Sri Lanka people, and many others like in South America, now in Canada, farmers, even after the suppress of truckers, after the action from the side of dictatorship of Castro Trudeau, still Canadians luckily are protesting. I'm really happy that slowly they are waking up. I know that for them it's shock because for the last circa 150 years, I recorded movie about it in Polish and in English. They had governments and institutions that they could, to some extent, trust, of to some extent reliable trust. But now it turned out that Trudeau showed them really dark face of the government and dark face of green socialism. And that's why we should protest, support them. In some countries people are still sleeping, like in Poland. Most likely the reason for that is that they are afraid of losing the recently gained artificial prosperity on credits, mostly taken in Swiss francs, which is also a one big cheating, because how these banks were able to offer credits in the currency they were not possessing at the moment. This is a good question. So we see that this is another fraud, another swindle, and now these people, because the ratio of Swiss franc to dollar and Polish zloty and euro changed in recent years dramatically, it increased. Now these people are barely struggling to pay their credits, but somehow I don't have much compassion to them, because no one forced them to do so, in contrast to many other people who were forced during the last 2 years to do many things they didn't want, and even if they didn't comply, they were really punished, like losing jobs or social isolation and so on. In contrast to these people who really suffered because they refused to take some pseudo remedies or to comply to some stupid rules due to the time of the famous Chinese microbe. In contrast to these poor people, the people who took the credits in the foreign currency and they didn't think what would happen if the ratio between two currencies they operate with changes, not in their favor. Actually, the guilt for their suffering is only on their side, because they were motivated by greed and pseudo smartness, that I will be smarter than the others and I will be rich. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like this, what they see now in their wallets. So for people who took credits to have more than they can really could afford in the foreign currency credits, I don't have any compassion, because no one forced them. They are responsible, they are adult, and they should bear the consequences of their own choices, even if these choices are really stupid ones. But coming back to the main topic of this video, I'm really happy that people in many countries start to wake up, like Czechs in Czech Republic. Even Czech left side of the political spectrum and right side of the political spectrum protest together against stupid politics of the government that leads to energy crisis and other crises, what I mentioned in the beginning of this video, and they really want them to step down, and they are pressing them a lot. And this is very significant and symptomatic, because it means that right side and left side, or middle, or whatever side of political spectrum in Czech Republic, they really think at the end of the day about the common interests of Czech people. They are not serving openly, and they are not serving secretly to foreign powers, and they also think about geopolitics, because we are relatively small or average countries in the Central Europe, and in case of the clash of the titans that surround us, so West mainly Anglo-Saxons and East Russia, China, and so on, during the clash of the titans, we would be used, if our elites are not responsible, as bumpers. And we know when there is a car crash, bumper gets damaged as first, and it gets damaged to the worst degree. And Poland in 1939 was used, because of the stupidity of our political elite those days, as a bumper against Germany and later Soviet Union. How it ended up, we know, and unfortunately currently our government still, I think, they know what they are doing, and they want to have some good positions later on the West once everything is done. They still try to act as a bumper in current series of military clashes between Russia and Ukraine. What will come out, I don't know, but at least there is a light in the tunnel. In many countries, people are waking up and really doing everything to throw the governments and change the situation. In some countries, like in Poland, people are unfortunately still sleeping, hoping that it will fade away somehow, it will go away, and their recently gained prosperity, actually artificial prosperity, will last. It will not. And the later we react, the worse it will be. All the best, have a nice day, bye.